The surgery is free.
Remember that quote? If something is free, you're not the customer, you're the product. Bruce Schneier. What makes this Black Mirror episode particularly terrifying isn't just how disturbing it is. It's how probable this reality actually is. We are literally sleepwalking into a new form of digital serfdom, and this episode shows us exactly how it happens. The title Common People is no accident. Amanda and Mike represent everyday people like us. She's a dedicated school teacher. He's a hardworking construction worker. They live frugal, down-to-earth lives, trying to make ends meet while dreaming of starting a family. In other words, they're just like millions of regular people, working hard, following the rules, and still barely keeping their heads above water in today's economy. When Amanda suddenly collapses at school and falls into a coma from a brain tumor, we watch Mike crumbling. He didn't even get to say goodbye. It's in this moment of absolute vulnerability and desperation that technology presents itself as the miracle solution. Enter Rivermind Technologies and their representative Gaynor, with her perfect smile and reassuring voice. The pitch is compelling. Revolutionary technology that can restore Amanda's brain function by replacing damaged tissue with synthetic tissue connected to their servers. And the surgery is completely free. The catch? A reasonable $300 monthly subscription fee. When you're desperate, when someone you love is essentially gone, wouldn't you accept almost any terms? Mike certainly does. This moment of desperation leading to a lifetime of dependency isn't fiction. It's happening around us right now. Initially, everything seems fine. Amanda wakes up, recovers, and the couple resumes their life, with some limitations. She needs to sleep more than before, and they need to stay within certain coverage areas. But then things start deteriorating. Amanda sleeps longer and longer hours. Why? Because Rivermind is using her brain processing power to run their servers while she sleeps. When they try to leave town for a weekend, they discover the coverage area is more limited than they thought. The solution? Upgrade to Rivermind Plus for just $500 more per month. This pattern should feel familiar. It's the same pattern we see across digital services. The free email account that suddenly needs premium features when you hit storage limits. The streaming service that keeps raising prices after you become dependent on it. The software that moves essential features behind increasingly expensive tiers. Think about your monthly statements. How many subscriptions have slowly crept up in price? How many essential upgrades have you been forced to purchase for products you thought you already own?
Kids love honey.
The most disturbing turn comes when Rivermind makes their original tier the new basic service. Suddenly, Amanda begins spouting advertisements in the middle of conversations without even realizing it, jeopardizing her teaching job and their social life.
I didn't say that. Yeah, you did.
The intrusion of corporate interests into our most intimate moments isn't fiction. Smart speakers listening to private conversations, phones tracking location even when disabled algorithms analyzing our messages to predict our behavior. But the episode goes further, showing us what happens when people truly can't afford to keep up with this extractive model. Desperate to afford the next tier, Mike turns to Dumb Dummies, a platform where users perform increasingly humiliating and dangerous acts for money from viewers. We watch as he degrades himself more and more, ultimately pulling out his own teeth for donations. This is digital serfdom in its purest form, sacrificing dignity, safety, and humanity just to maintain access to something essential that you'll never actually own. We're already seeing disturbing parallels. Content creators risking their safety for views, people selling intimate data for small rewards, workers accepting increasingly exploitative conditions just to survive. And all of this for what? For Amanda to be just functional enough to keep working, to keep sleeping 16 hours a day so Rivermind can extract value from her brain, to keep existing as a shell of herself. When Mike scrapes together enough money for a temporary 12-hour Lux booster on their anniversary, we expect to finally see them reconnect. But what happens is even more disturbing. As Amanda turns up her pleasure settings, she becomes completely absorbed in her own sensations, disconnected from Mike entirely. Despite having passionate sex, there's something profoundly empty about the experience. Amanda is present physically but lost in her artificially enhanced sensations, unaware of Mike's actual experience. He watches her with growing discomfort, realizing that even this premium tier doesn't restore what they've lost. It creates something else entirely. This is perhaps the most insidious part of the techno-feudal model. Even the premium experience isn't truly fulfilling. It's just another artificial construct that further separates us from authentic human connection. The system sells the illusion of improvement while actually taking us further from what makes life meaningful. It's not just that full humanity is available only to those who can afford the premium tier. It's that the system itself has redefined what humanity means, replacing it with something hollow and commodified. When Mike loses his job and they can't make payments, they beg Gaynor for understanding, for humanity. Her response? A perfect corporate smile while dropping a bombshell. If Amanda were to get pregnant, there would be additional fees they hadn't been told about before. This revelation is particularly crushing. Throughout the episode, we see hints that the couple had been trying to start a family. Mike had been carefully saving for their future child, which makes this sudden disclosure of hidden costs all the more devastating. Remember the title, Common People. This is what happens to regular people in a system designed to extract maximum value. The system doesn't care about your circumstances, your humanity, or your dignity. It cares about the subscription revenue. 1 year later, we find Amanda back on the basic subscription, sleeping 16 hours a day and spouting ads when awake. Their dreams of a family are gone. Their careers are gone. Their dignity is gone. All that remains is the subscription. The episode reaches its darkest conclusion when Mike secretly saves up enough money to purchase 30 minutes of Lux service. During this brief window of clarity, Amanda herself comes to the conclusion that this is no way to live. With her serenity artificially dialed up, she calmly asks Mike to end her life when she's not there, during one of her ad reads. As creator Charlie Brooker explains, when she's advertising things, she's not really aware it's happening. It's almost like it's in her sleep. Mike fulfills her wish, smothering her during an ad read, before walking into his streaming room with a box cutter, looking directly at the camera, at us, before the screen cuts to black. The parallels between Black Mirror's dystopia and our reality are already visible. The recent case of Luigi Mangione, accused of killing United Healthcare's CEO, revealed a disturbing truth. As he pleaded not guilty, protesters gathered outside the courthouse in freezing weather to support him. Their stories of financial ruin from medical bills, endless battles with insurance companies, and lives destroyed by a profit-driven healthcare system echoed the fictional desperation of Mike and Amanda. While violence is never justified, the underlying pain is very real and demands our attention. We've seen these patterns before. Medieval feudalism wasn't just economic inequality. It was a comprehensive system where birth determined your rights, opportunities, and value as a human being. Peasants were bound to the land, nobility enjoyed special privileges and immunities, and merchants occupied a constrained middle ground. But history also teaches us something crucial about power. It depends on the many. When the Black Death created labor shortages, peasants gained leverage and won new rights. When trade created alternative livelihoods, feudal bonds weakened. The printing press democratized knowledge beyond elite control. The lesson? Collectively, we are actually dependent on. Tech lords need our data, our attention, our continued participation. If enough of us make different choices, their power diminishes. It's our collective choices that give them power over us. While regulation has a role to play, antitrust enforcement, data rights legislation, right to repair laws, there are also small steps we can take now. Reflect on your digital choices. Which digital services genuinely improve your life? Which ones might be creating more stress than value? Look for ownership opportunities. When it makes sense for you, consider options that give you more control. Whether it's downloading songs you love instead of only streaming, or choosing software with one-time payment options. Connect with community. Local libraries, community groups, and shared resources can provide alternatives that often bring both practical benefits and human connection. Support creators you value. When possible, consider supporting creators through their own platforms or direct payment options where they keep more of what you give. Be aware of changing terms. Pay attention when services update their terms.
I should have never updated iTunes!
And don't be afraid to question charges that weren't clearly explained. Remember, feudalism didn't end overnight. It eroded as people created alternatives, demanded better treatment, and gradually withdrew from exploitative systems. We have the same power today if we use it. Small, mindful choices add up over time, and even being aware of these patterns is a meaningful first step. Remember that final scene? Mike looking directly at us before cutting to black? That's not just a stylistic choice. It's the episode breaking the fourth wall to tell us something critical. This future isn't inevitable. It's a choice. The same technology that enables digital exploitation could instead liberate and empower. The question isn't whether we'll have advanced technology. It's what business models and power structures will govern that technology. Common people isn't just the title of this episode. It's a reminder of who bears the brunt of exploitative systems, and also who has the collective power to change those systems. The subscription model that eventually killed Amanda and took Mike with her is already operating in our lives today, but the story doesn't have to end the same way. Unlike Mike and Amanda, we still have options if we recognize the pattern before it's too late.